live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Yes, it is on a fine Monday. Thanks for joining us here on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. We've crept into the month of December and we got a nice snowstorm with it in our mountains. We're going to talk about that with meteorologist Chase Thomason here in just a moment, and obviously what comes next, but also Avalanche early season conditions, concern, awareness, and what you can do to be prepared with Utah Avalanche Center's own Craig Gordon here in just a few minutes. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us during the show. You can use a hashtag to join our conversation if you'd like. It is 2 News Live. You can also, of course, reach out on social media. We're very active on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can send a direct message any of those platforms to weigh in. We would love to hear from you. Let's get to it. Are you digging out if you're high up? Maybe in the valleys, you're just kind of making your way through the Monday motions here after
soggy.
a snowstorm.
Yeah, super soggy in the valleys, but the mountains, especially above 7,000 feet, I mean, really piling up.
Impressive snow totals.
Yeah.
Very wet.
Very wet, dense snow. So this is one of those storms that started out cold and then got a little bit warmer towards the end, which kind of happens opposite normally. But with that warmer air, we had a lot of moisture. So all that moisture, and we just saw several inches of snow in our mountains. You can see some of these very impressive totals picking up anywhere between 2 to 4 feet of
903, 903.
Hey,
I'm going to keep cheering it on here as we get going.
We need another 750 inches to get to that 903.
The countdown is on.
That's
We're going
right.
to start playing the ruler stick game here with the graphics.
Yep.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, so with the heavy, dense snow, though, of course, avalanche danger. It is a big problem right now. So let's get to your forecast. We are in the red, which means it is high in the backcountry. So please be safe, stay out of the backcountry. We need that snow to settle, and hopefully conditions will get a little bit better later this week. But again, we have more snow in the forecast, so we're going to be adding to those layers. Take a look. This is what Lower Peruvian Gulch looked like earlier today. You can see that where we had a little bit of snow, and of course, we're going to be talking more about that avalanche danger coming up in just a moment. Now, for tonight, 20s and 30s, dry weather, clearing skies. Will likely stay just at or above freezing here along the Wasatch Front. We've had some milder air move in today. I mean, we were in the 50s, but of course, as that sun is going down right now, we do cool off. But tomorrow, back into the upper 40s and low 50s in northern and central Utah. Look at Cedar coming in at 57. It's going to be a mild day down in St. George, 63. If you're headed to any of those national parks for your Tuesday, looks really nice. Very sunny and quiet. Of course, with quiet weather, though, we might start to see some weak inversions develop here along the Wasatch Front, but radar is very calm at the moment. We have just a few showers to our east, but dry weather has settled in. Mentioned those weak inversions, moderate air qualities in the forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't expect what we had last week with those strong inversions and that really bad air with that pollution trapped here in the valleys. The good news, we do have a few storms coming our way. Now, none of them look very impressive, but we'll get some mixing, cleaner air, and we'll have some rain and snow at times. So right now, there's tons of moisture spreading to the Pacific Northwest. Eventually, a little piece of this is going to try to push into Utah by Thursday morning. There it is. A little bit of rain and snow, mainly for northern Utah, central and southern Utah, dry. Then as we head into Friday, there's another little storm that rolls in, a little bit colder, so we could have a little bit of valley and mountain snow, primarily I-70 north. Far southern Utah, again, staying dry. Saturday, kind of a break, and then another little weak storm rolls into northern Utah with a few more rain and snow showers. So eventually it'll all add up at our ski resorts, but I don't expect significant totals here in the valleys. Now, St. George, we're sunny, mid-60s next few days. Enjoy that. And then a little bit cooler as we wrap up the week and head into the weekend. Right now, Saturday is probably your coolest day, 50 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Those overnight lows will drop from the 30s to the 20s. Salt Lake, we're at 34 for tonight, 48 tomorrow. We go to 52 on Wednesday, a little haze. Again, a few showers at times Thursday and especially on Friday. And then our temperatures will drop into the upper 30s, Brian. Saturday, though, will be a break, so maybe some great skiing conditions on Saturday, but you know they're going to be busy. And then we have more mountain snow moving in on Sunday, rain or snow showers in the valleys, and then drying out by Monday. So nothing too significant, nothing like what we had over the weekend, but a few storms. Always great to see because, again, less haze.
Well, you're right. Everything moves in. It kind of pushes it out.
Yep.
Lets us feel more, like if I'm out there, like I was at the Olympic Plaza last week twice, just breathing it in. It was gross.
I know, especially if you're up high and kind of looking out at the valley, you can see all that pollution.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that.
Nope. You're right. Thank you, Chase. Remember to download our 2 News weather app. You can always know about those changes in your neighborhood. You can get updated forecasts, the live radar right at the palm of your hand. The app is free to download, so be in the know with what is headed our way with the 2 News mobile app. All right, let's go in depth here with Utah Avalanche Center's Craig Gordon. 25 years with UAC?
Yeah, quarter century. You're probably thinking this guy doesn't even look this old, right?
That's exactly what we thought. Hey, current conditions here right now, looking at your danger ratings and your danger map. What are you seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see the red on a scale of 1 to 5. The red is a level 4. That means that natural avalanches are possible, but even scarier, human-triggered avalanches. They're likely, and they're breaking deep, they're breaking wide, they're breaking to the ground. So you can see that from Provo into Salt Lake, Ogden, and then up into Logan. Out into the western Uintas, didn't get quite the volume of water or snow, but definitely got the wind, so a considerable danger there. Still, very dangerous human-triggered avalanches are possible. The Manti skyline, that was kind of the little bit of the medium, the in-between point, where nearly not as much water, snow, or wind. Still a moderate avalanche danger, and that means that human-triggered avalanches are possible. So yeah, Brian, I'll tell you, the bullseye was really the Salt Lake area mountains, and man, the Cottonwoods, they just got pounded. So statewide, we're looking at anywhere from 20 to 40 inches. Alta, Snowbird, Upper Little Cottonwood Canyon, 50 inches of snow, over 4 inches of water. So that means it's dense, it's heavy. Chase was talking how this is a little bit unusual for us. The light stuff came in early.
Right.
The heavy stuff came in late, right? The light stuff is what makes our license plates so famous. That heavy stuff, that's more like Sierra Cement. Sorry about that, California.
And East Coast for like me here, New Englander. All right, so let's put this into perspective with some pictures over the last few days, specifically over the last day here with some of those slides. You and I were talking some of these obviously natural and also some of these remote triggers from a distance.
Yeah, so what that means is that we don't even have to be on the slope to trigger the avalanche. We can do that from a distance, from an adjacent slope, or even from an adjacent ridge line or from a ridge line. And so what makes that scary is that being able to trigger avalanches from a distance, there might be another group down below us or adjacent to us. We might ruin somebody's day without their consent. So we definitely don't want to be that person. And that actually speaks to kind of the dangerous, spooky, scary nature of our avalanche conditions. And I'll tell you, we had all the snow, we had all the water. The big game changer were the winds. And the winds, they were averaging 30 to 40 to 50 miles an hour, a couple of gusts in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And that laid down a very cohesive, what we call slab. A slab is a cohesive piece of snow, shatters like a pane of glass once we find a weakness underlying that. And that weakness is that lower density snow.
So what does this mean moving forward with our current kind of structure that got laid down from this last storm?
Yeah, exactly. What this means is that for the moment, yesterday we saw a lot of natural avalanche activity. And remember, the biggest clue to avalanches is avalanches. So if you're seeing avalanches on the same kinds of slopes you want to ride on, they face the same way, same slope angle, same elevation, that's Mother Nature's freebie. We saw that yesterday. Now, today we saw more human-triggered avalanches, and so what slopes are waiting is for us to come along, knock the legs out from underneath it, and then, Brian, we're staring down the barrel of a very dangerous avalanche. So our advice is that what we need to do is remember, this is mostly mid and upper elevation problems, so we simply stay off of and out from underneath steep slopes. Remember, even if you're at the bottom of a slope, if you're connected to that thing, it's like pulling a log out of the log pile. The entire log pile crashes down on top of us. We just need to avoid that altogether. Now, we're super stoked about all of these freshies, and I know everybody's following that, and you're shouting out 903. It's a little bit of a different setup than last year. We do have this persistent weak layer. It's not going to go away overnight. We just got to keep our finger on that pulse. Remember, UtahAvalancheCenter.org is going to be your one-stop shop for all things avalanche. Be armed with the latest avalanche forecast before you even consider heading into the mountains. Have your rescue gear, avalanche transceiver, shovels, probes, airbag, an experienced partner. Remember, if we've got to use our avalanche rescue gear, Brian, that means we've screwed up, we've messed up, the accident's already happened. We've got to avoid the accident altogether because, as you saw in those avalanches, they're breaking deep, wide to the ground, revealing all of the obstacles underneath. If nothing else, that's a season ender. We want everybody to enjoy the greatest snow on earth. More importantly, come home safely to their families.
Just quickly, Avalanche Awareness Week.
Yeah.
Jam-packed week, all sorts of events all over the state. What's happening?
Yeah, thanks for that plug. Avalanche Awareness Week. What that means is we want everybody to be armed with a skill set so that we can enjoy this amazing storm. Right now at Sugar House Park, coming at you live, we've got beacon demos, we've got hands-on training, we've got some talks about what's going on with our snowpack and then how you can recreate safely. Thursday night, we've got a gig up at Young Power Sports in Centerville. Come visit us there. I'll be presenting there. And then statewide, again, UtahAvalancheCenter.org. So many events. We appreciate all of the support. Looking forward to seeing somebody at a venue coming near you.
Let's lead into our next conversation here. Of course, we're going to continue monitoring avalanches, how to stay safe as we get through the snow this winter. So if you missed anything from this conversation, you'll find it back on our YouTube channel. Stay with me here because we're talking about resorts.
Absolutely.
We're talking about resorts. We're talking about Snowbird and Alta specifically. Both were battered in Little Cottonwood with just that upside down sort of storm that rolled through. Snowbird had a hard time with it. Before we hear from them, what is the nuance of the resort world in keeping people safe, obviously, from what can happen inbounds with some of those intense slopes and the intense aspects that are in Little Cottonwood?
So remember that we have got the most qualified, most skilled, hardest working women and men of the avalanche control teams of the of the ski patrol, and of course of the folks who are keeping our mountain corridors safe. So when they're pumping the brakes, when they're having trouble getting things open for the public and reassessing and then maybe getting surprised, that speaks to the tricky nature of our snowpack right now. So yeah, yesterday you mentioned Upper Little Cottonwood Canyon, some challenges there again today. But the bottom line is that if the avalanche professionals who do this every day are getting tricked and reassessing, then us as recreationists and us as just lovers of the snow, even if we're extreme snow angelers, we got to pump the brakes as well, and we got to tone it down.
Utah's #1 snow angel right here.
Rock on. Thanks, my man. Thanks for all of the support. UtahAvalancheCenter.org. Visit us. We'll keep you going. We'll keep you on top.
Take a look at the website for all the events coming up this week. Let's hear from the folks at Snowbird about what they've been going through the last couple days.
The way that the snow came in, it started really nice and light and fluffy early in on this storm. And then we said, it came in upside down. It got a lot warmer and heavier as the storm went on. And so our team saw, really high speed winds over 100 miles per hour. We saw a ton of snow and we saw a lot of natural avalanche activity happening as they were working to get the mountain open yesterday. And so when you have conditions like that, safety is our #1 priority always for our guests and also for our employees. And so we made the call to not open the tram in Gadzoom. And we know a lot of people really wanted to get out there and get skiing, but safety is always going to be that #1 thing for us. And that's really why we made that call. I think it's really easy for people to want to compare all of the different resorts. We're so lucky to have so many different ski resorts right here in Utah, right outside of Salt Lake City, but we're all so different. And that's what makes it so fun to ski all the different resorts. And the terrain at Snowbird is unlike the terrain at any other mountain. We have a lot of really steep, awesome skiing and riding, but that's also what makes it so complex on avalanche mitigation mornings. And so you really can compare us to each other when you're talking avalanche safety and mitigation. We're always going to keep that safety as #1, as eager as people are. And that's really what goes into a morning like yesterday and even this morning as we had some delays.
All right, Utah gas prices falling right now. Can you believe it? Prices in the state sitting below the national average, and they're way below where they were just a year ago. Doesn't seem like it happens all the time, but Daniel Woodruff has been looking into this for us. Daniel, what are the prices that we're seeing spread across the entire state right now here in Utah? What are we seeing?
Well, we're seeing a statewide average of about $3.06 a gallon. That's down from about $3.24 a gallon that we're seeing for the national average. So Utah, for a rare occurrence here, is actually below the national average. And if you look back a year ago at this time, we were paying about $3.79 a gallon. This is all according to AAA. And so this is really welcome news for drivers because it is so low comparably. We're seeing most metro areas across Utah at under $3 a gallon, St. George being the only exception where it's in, I think, the 340s. But this is an instance where drivers are getting some relief right now, as we've seen usually in the fall, demand drops and refineries are running at full. But also AAA saying that the market has really adjusted to some of these world conflicts that we're seeing, and that's kind of pushing prices a little bit lower.
All right, Daniel, thank you very much. Of course, we want to hear from you at home. Now that gas prices have dropped, do you plan to do other things with all of those saved funds? Probably doesn't add up right away, but it will down the line here. Scan the QR code to weigh in on your screen. 72% of you lopsided today, saying I'm going to pay my other bills with this. 12% more Christmas gifts, 12% travel for the holidays. Some of you saying, I don't have a car right now. Maybe you take the tracks to work. All right.
I mean, if I could, I would.
I know.
Right.
I
don't want to drive.
It's kind of nice. You get to avoid the headache and a lot of things that we talk about here on the program with what happens on the road. Final thoughts. Obviously, a couple days of drying out, which is kind of nice after a little unsettled this weekend.
Yep. We talked about how, remember, our state snowpack was well below normal, and I told you all it took was one storm like what we just had.
Right.
We're now at 111% of normal, so we made that switch. It's still very early in the season, but getting a lot of folks asking me on social media, how are we doing compared to last year? I believe we're just about 1 inch below from last year when it comes to our state snow water equivalent, so we're pretty close, but just keep in mind it's early, and what we saw last season was right after Christmas, storm after storm after storm.
We talked about that on Ark Salt Lake last week as well.
Okay.
Not being worried, right, until maybe mid to late January at this point.
That's right.
All
but
right.
It's a good start. We're now above normal.
Good start here for a Monday, too. Thanks for watching 2 News Live. We are back tomorrow, Monday through Friday here at 5:30. Hope to see you again later this week. As always, if you missed our conversation, find it on our YouTube page. You can watch anything back from, of course, today's show, our conversation with Craig Gordon. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.